What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab Lim. Wala si Maui today. Flying, he went on a Euro trip. Pero we do have an exciting semis matchup sa Filoil between UP and LaSalle. We're back with our live episode. We just wanted to do like our instant reactions to that game. It was a close game, Gab. It was sort of exciting, pero nawalan ng flow eh. Maybe I think we're going to talk more about this later on. Dun sa mga nakikinig sa live namin, just comment down below then as we talk about this game. So, let's start with our instant
The
reactions muna, Gab. Another UP
yes,
Lasal classic for you.
the RemoGOAT, he's back. RemoGOAT
Gusto ko
is
yung
back.
meron ka pang sound effects.
Grabe. Kailangan eh. Ba. Ay, sheep pa ba yun? Is that a sheep or a goat? I'm completely blank. I don't know anymore. But yeah, Ray RemoGOAT hitting the two big threes during the end of this game. One
Back to back.
nearly was back to back. And the first one was off a steal from Mason Amos. Mason Amos picked him on the top of the key. Picked him, he was all alone against him, but could not finish Mason.
Inaalas.
No, Mason, just
Ganda
finish
na
it.
eh. Na-steal na niya
Just
eh.
lay
Break na eh.
Yeah, take this. UP goes back onto the other end. RemoGOAT just pulls up from three, hits it, and the second three was more impressive for me.
Mas malayo
He
yun.
had it
And he was like faking a pick,
No.
right?
Yeah, he faked the pick. So Jacob Cortez backed off him and just launched it from remote country. That's his range, Sammy. I think we all forget that when he was the main guy in UE, that was one of his trademark shots. He would just launch it from range, and you gotta admire the confidence of the guy. I mean, he was, I think he had made one field goal the entire game. The
In
three
the
to cut
third?
the lead to four
Yeah. That was
in
his
the third
first
quarter.
field goal.
Yeah, that was his only field goal. He was 1 of 9 before those 2 3. So you have to give him props. Big time shots from a big time player from RemoGOAT. With that being said, I think this game kind of got destroyed because the refs were horrible. I cannot believe that those referees are so. I can't believe that team. They have to suspend those refs or something or cut their pay because whatever they were doing in the fourth quarter and in end game, just I could not believe what I was seeing. It started with the Mike Phillips call. Remember he dunked the ball, it missed. I don't know what they called. What did they call a goaltending? Was it basket interference? Then they apparently made no call. So
Binahawi, diba?
it wasn't basket in. Oh,
Topex was
apparently it
livid.
wasn't in. Oh, it was apparently an inadvertent. So there was no foul, no goaltending, no basket interference. Play just resumed after a long delay of them reviewing it, and then I don't remember there was a tiki-tack foul. This type of defense has been played the entire game, and now you're calling tiki-tack fouls. What the hell are you doing, refs? And also, the foul on Harold Alarcon. What was that? That wasn't a foul. Again, this type of defense was being played the entire game. Physical. They were all those tiki-tack fouls at the end of the game to foul out Harold Alarcon, to put Noy RemoGOAT at the line to tie the game on a tiki-tack foul from Boris Manasigan. What? Tapos, the foul on Harold Alarcon was clearly before the inbounds pass. What? And then they awarded
They
to
kept
they changed the call
flip-flopping on
from
calls. It's
road.
like the whole last 3 minutes they couldn't decide on what to call, and then they just kept changing it. 'Di ba? Parang ang dami.
Oh,
Hindi lang isa eh.
even the commentators were confused, and I think
Both
they were
coaches, to
annoyed
be fair,
at
both
what was
coaches
happening in
were
the game.
really
Like what?
annoyed. Both teams were annoyed then.
Yeah, 'cause if I'm sure fans, players, coaches, the announcers, and everyone there was so confused with what was happening. Uh, and yun nga, that call, they awarded Boris Marisigan 2 shots. It should have been one free throw plus possession. The foul was clearly before the inbounds pass. It should have been Salle possession. I really don't get that. Plus, the Kian Baclan made a 3 to cut the lead to 3. UP inbounded the ball to Noruka. They called the foul. So Noruka's supposed to go to the free throw line. The refs
Again,
they
flip
took back
flop.
that call as well.
Oh my God.
They took back that call as well. They said we have to review the time. I'm like, what? That's such a bullshit call kasi it allows you to set a play. You go to the go to the scores table to review. So there's a delay. UP had no timeouts, or I think they didn't. But they didn't call the timeout because I don't know. It's off a made shot. You're supposed to let it to let the play go on. Why did you stop the play? It's the refs were just killing this game. Honestly, all of their calls were such horseshit. Sobrang sayang kasi ang ganda ng game eh. Ang ganda ng game. UP was down big in the first half.
In the third.
They came back in the third quarter, missed free throws, by the way. I think someone in the chat did point that out.
Atrocious.
LaSalle, atrocious free throw shooting. Everyone was missing. Cortez, Baclaan, Phillips,
Marasigan.
Amos,
Boris couple.
Boris Marasi won this game and prevented a UP comeback in the third quarter if they had just hit their free throws. Very reminiscent of Game 3 of the UAAP Finals, Sammy. Remember all those Mike Phillips?
Yun din naalala ko. Correct.
Free throws?
Especially those Mike Phillips free throws. Parang ako, oh my God, Mike. Like, you are going to lose another championship if you continue to miss your free throws.
Exactly, Sam. And another thing that was very reminiscent of this game was the finals last year of Filoil. UP was down big as well. Remember, as much as 20 points in the first half, came back in the second half to win a close battle at the end. I think there was 10 points of Jerry Abadjan in the fourth quarter to seal the deal. Very, very reminiscent this game. I'm sure UP fans are gonna trash talk the LaSalle fans a lot because of this game. They're gonna trash talk Kian Baclaan. Kian Baclaan was a lot of the UP players a while ago. He was trash talking the crowd as well, I think. So they're gonna give it to LaSalle, and it's gonna be spicy.
I love it.
Know.
I'm all in on the rivalry, the trash talking.
Put in. Of course, and the game was great, Sam. The game was great. Ang ganda ng ending. The 2-3s, the 2-3s by RemoGOAT's. But come on, those refs, man. I cannot believe it's just one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen.
I'm glad you
in
said
my
that
life.
kasi I do agree.
What were the refs doing?
Later, I'm glad you said
Sammy.
that because I do agree. And later, baka let's just do a quick Boleros and Boleros later. I have number one here. Biggest Bolero for me, the officiating, the refs. I agree with everything you said. They just ruined the flow of what should have been a very, very exciting game. I think yung isa pang nakaka-ends on both teams, it was Marasigan and si Jerry Abadiano. Both guys were in the middle of shooting free throws, and then they like call off the free throw and say na, wait, hindi pa kami nakapag-decide. Joke lang.
To,
And
to be fair,
you mentioned
I think the one by
announcers.
Abadjano was, I think, warranted because I think Abadam fouled out. So Coach Topez
Abadam fouled out.
had 1 minute
Correct.
to decide who to sub
Decide
in.
kung sino
But
papalit.
then
Right.
again, why did they
But
give Abadjano the ball?
exactly. That's what the announcers pointed out. Yung announcers na mismo, sabi mo nga, sila na mismo nagsabi, bakit nyo binigay kung hindi pa pala kayo nakakapag-decide? And I remember this quote sabi nung isa sa mga announcers, shout out to them by the way, sabi niya, I'm ganon kasi he could not for the life of him understand or process kung anong nangyayari. And I think every one of us just could not understand anong nangyayari and what was happening with the officiating. So I think biggest bolero yon for me later. We can talk about the other boleros, but I do agree. But let's get into the game. Parang how did LaSalle sort of build this huge lead nung first half, and like UP you mentioned came running back in later. Ano nakita mo sa LaSalle versus UP in the first half?
LaSalle was pretty effective in breaking down UP's defense. So any overplay by UP's guards or UP's perimeter players, and they were getting backdoored all the time. I thought the LaSalle bigs were pretty effective in attacking closeouts, as well as the LaSalle guards. They tried to attack RemoGOAT's as much as possible. I think Jacob Cortez wanted RemoGOAT as much as possible, and it was effective. But an aggressive LaSalle offense, and I thought a very lackluster UP defense in the first half. They were, how should I say it, allowing a lot of rim runs, paint touches after paint touch, and lack of help defense. But they fixed that in the third quarter. And honestly, kahit na ganun ka-tight yung UP defense, if LaSalle had just made their free throws, I think they would have really killed them. And UP was missing free throws on the other end as well. So LaSalle had all the chances to seal this game. But in the first half, a lot of Cortez and Baclaan just breaking down the UP defense. Mike Phillips just doing Mike Phillips things. Masipag on the glass. You're getting those offensive
I like what
rebounds.
Amos did in the first half. He was hot from 3.
Yeah. And that's also, well, we'll get that later. That's one of my criticisms of this game. We'll get to that later. I thought they should have ran more plays for Mason
Parang nawala,
in the third quarter and in the fourth. But they don't really run plays because for Mason, he just gets his shots in the flow of the offense, usually from kickouts, usually from pick and pops, off plays by Baclaan and Cortez. They don't run plays specifically for Mason. But then again, we'll get to that later. I thought pick and roll with Mike Phillips in the fourth quarter. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Mason Amos. Seems really confident now playing with LaSalle. We sort of questioned kung ano yung magiging role niya for this team nung when they started getting like all these other players in, diba? But I'm really starting to see like a niche for Mason Amos. I do wish he could get more touches. To be fair to the UP defense, I think dun sa second half, meron din namang mga looks si Mason. They just closed out better on Mason. The shots that he was making nung first half, I think were a bit more wide open. Pero nung second half, most of the shots he took were challenged na eh. So I think UP also made the adjustment to close out on Mason. But you made a good point na he doesn't really get a lot of plays or like touches, more of by chance lang din. But yeah, so UP, I sort of missed this third quarter. I just saw yung bandang duo where I think they tied the game by the end of the third. What happened? How did UP come back from being down 13, I think, at the most?
They locked in on defense. I thought the UP defense showed up in the third quarter. And combine that with a lot of missed free throws by the De La Salle Green Artist, I think allowed them to to come back in this game. Uh, they were not allowing straight line drives to the basket anymore. I think the UP guards got the message in the first half or in half to get beat time and time again by Cortez and Baclaan. So I think the UP guys you got the message. Shout out to uh, Abadjano, Alarcon. I think they took on majority of the defensive roles there on Baclaan and Cortez, which allowed UP to stay on their mat. Were able to get stops over and over, defensive stop. It was not as easy anymore to get to the rim, to get to the paint if you were LaSalle in that third quarter. I also have to give a shout out to Danny Stevens. I thought he caused problems in the paint for LaSalle. Mason, sorry, but you gotta box out, man. Come on. You can't get beat time and time again yung by Danny Stevens. And actually, the two big lineup worked for once.
Are you saying
for the UP
they
Fighting
should
Maroons.
do the two big lineup?
No.
Ikaw, ayaw mo.
No.
Hater
No.
ka ng two big lineup eh. So, should they do more two big lineups for UP?
No, but it did work in the third quarter. They were getting to the offensive rebounds a lot more, especially Gani Stevens. And eventually, LaSalle had to answer with Bright Nuanco and Mike Phillips, which also did. But yeah, all in all, defense in the third quarter, Sammy. I think that's really the key. That's been the key for UP for the past how many seasons already. Their defense has to lock in for their offense to grow.
On the other end, I think LaSalle was forced to also play a two big lineup. I think it was Noanco and Mike Phillips. How well did that go for you?
Not well at all. Very reminiscent of the Henry Agonani and Mike Phillips lineups that they were running last season. No, that should never be duplicated.
Okay. Speaking of the third quarter, I think for me one of the guys that stood out the nung third quarter was Raylan Torres. I think third and fourth nung second half. I think most of like the points that he got was in the second half. Also played good defense. Still a guy that I think will be crucial for UP this coming season, just being a pest on defense and also yung shooting niya and being like a bigger guard that they can put on like the guards of the wings and guards of UP. Sorry,
as long as he doesn't do any Wacky Manuel things on the court, I'm happy with Raylan Torres play.
As long as it's within the confines of basketball, okay lang. Someone else? Any siguro you wanna do like ballers and boleros? I wanna hear your thoughts on like ballers pero parang surprise ballers for you on this game.
One of my ballers actually showed up in the third quarter. Sean Alter, signs of life. Sean
Alter sighting.
Sean Alter sighting and very aggressive attacking the paint, and I'm happy to see it. This was the Sean Alter we were getting in the preseason before season 87. When Malik Diouf departed, it was mostly him and Gani Stevens, and forgot their other big. But yeah, and Dicasio Dodo were manning the center slot for UP, and I thought he looked good in the preseason last season. So it's good to see him that our high opinion of him is not wasted. We still think that he can produce. And come on, man, he has size. He's what, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" if you want to stretch it. And this is the potential of a Sean Alter. I think he's better as the single big, single center in an offense. I don't like him with another non-shooting big because spacing problems. But that's what I want to see. Signs of life from Sean. He's been buried in the UP bench for what, months now? A year. Siguro mag 1 year anniversary na since nakastock siya dun sa UP bench. But I I want to see this. If there's ever stock on Sean Alter Island, I still have it. Siguro yung naiwan lang dun ang baba na ng value. But I still have it. I still think this guy has something to prove. But I don't think it's in UP. I think he should look at guys like Joe Gulapa and Rex De Los Reyes who have transferred to the NCAA and see there are no bigs in the NCAA. There are no guys as big as him. Rarely. He can average a double-double there. He can show his wares. He can do so much more, but he's stuck in this UP bench. I hope he sees that he can offer so much more to a team rather than just being the third or fourth center in a lineup or an emergency power forward in certain lineups. I love seeing it. Signs of life from Sean Alter. Hindi pa pala siya down and out, you know. He still has what, 3 playing years left. He should think about where he wants to go after college, or because he was a highly touted recruit, Sammy. I think a lot of teams. I do remember that off season. There were a lot of teams.
Marami ding hype videos
and
about him. Dominant big man.
Yeah. he was one of the favorites of those vloggers and reels. They all love to hype Sean Alter, and I think a lot of UAP teams and NCAA teams were vying for his services. And I think he should really give it a good thought where he wants to play next. Or if he wants to be patient at UP, go ahead. But come on, man, he's the third/fourth center. Sayang. I do think he still has some much to offer any other team. Again, where do you find guys 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" who can do the things that he does? So I'm happy. I'm happy we got a Sean Alter signing. He's one of my
I love
ballers
that
of this game.
kung merong hoodie Melo, merong preseason Sean. So, ang biggest question kay preseason Sean Alter is, will he, actually it's not his fault eh. The question is, will he get a chance to show yung same version preseason Sean sa UAAP sa actual season? Because last year we were super hyped seeing Sean Alter like dominate, I think, Pinoy Liga in I'm not sure kung Filoil yun, but like definitely nung Pinoy Liga, he was like dunking all over the place. But obviously QMB arrived, it changed yung lineup ng bigs nila, and Sean Alter, as we know it, didn't get a lot of minutes last season. I'm still rooting for this guy, whether it's in UP or in another school, as you suggested. But I just want him to get an opportunity this coming season. And so far, I think he has a chance. Unless manggulat na lang ulit ang UP and maglabas ng QMB version 2.0 na last minute nilang dinagdag sa lineup, I think Sean Alter will get play this season and show us what he can do in the UAP. Siguro, I'll go with the other big ng UP that you mentioned, yung two big lineup nila. Gani Stevens, I think was pretty solid for them on both ends. Not just like yung scoring. I think he scored in double digits, like 10, 11 points or something like that. But he also really out-rebounded the bigs of LaSalle, specifically Mason Amos. I think that's one of the disadvantages. Agile, and I feel like because of that, he gets bullied more, and I think Gani Stevens just really used his weight to push around the smaller big, lalo na the smaller bigs of LaSalle, like si Mason, si Luis Pablo, and I think that's why you mentioned LaSalle was forced to play two bigs. But I think there was also a play na tinulak lang niya I think it was Mike Phillips na parang tumalsik din kay Gani Stevens. So, well, he got to play last season, but I feel like he was also underwhelming given na nung preseason he looked a lot better. So I'm hoping these two guys actually get an opportunity this season for UP. Um, let's go to the Boleros. I'm sure we both have the referees as our Boleros. Anything you want to add to referees? If not, we can go to like another Bolero.
Nothing. Just those refs. Sayang. Really spoiled a good game for Lasal and UP fans and for all basketball fans actually. Sige, let's go to my first Bolero. The Lasal supporting cast. I think he's the guy that showed up in this game. But other guys, Dumo, Makalalag, Abadam, Luis Pablo, where were they all? Bright Noangco is isama mo na. There has to be guys who can hit shots other than the four main ones. Namely si Mike Phillips, Mason, Kian Baclaan, and Jacob Cortez. There has to be other people to step up and hit shots. That's when LaSalle was pretty dangerous last season. Remember, Sam? LaSalle was clicking on all cylinders when their other guys were clicking. Remember when guys like Makalalag, Abadam, Goliena, CJ Austria, Boris Marasigan, when they were making plays, hitting shots, LaSalle was nearly unstoppable. And I think for majority of the preseason, actually, this is LaSalle's first loss to the UAP team, I think, in the entire preseason. I haven't watched the game. Yeah, I haven't watched the game wherein they were beaten by the UAP team. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the supporting cast has to show up. If you look at the box score, it's pretty apparent. Aside from the big four, it was only si Boris who contributed scoring in the scoring department. Abadam, I think, was a 0. Dungo was a 0. Bright Noangco had some good moments. He had 5 points. But Luis Pablo, yung only 6 points, was getting pushed around and out-rebounded in the second half. So I think the supporting cast, man, they have to show up. They have to hit shots when the other guys are not hitting shots. And that's the reason why in the fourth quarter, UP was able to zone in on the two guards of LaSalle, si Baclaan and si Cortez. The offense did not come
that's true.
easy.
That's a good point. Yeah.
As in the first matchup in Filoil, they were trapping a lot. They were double teaming. They were really just trying to get the ball out of Baclaan and Cortez's hands. And that's where the other guys have to step up. Now, I do have another Bolero, but I'll save that for later. I know Boris Marasigan was the role player that was playing well the entire game, but I would have wanted more shooting in the game. Another shooter, another dead-eye shooter, maybe that, it's a threat from the outside, because Boris Marasigan, that's not his game. He's not a catch and shoot player. He's not known as a three-point shooter. I think if you're UP and you see that the fifth guy on the floor is Boris Marasigan, I think you'd be fine leaving him alone at the three-point line. So I would have wanted someone else. Now, I know si Boris was the one playing well amongst the other role guys, but I would have wanted someone else at that point. Kasi they were clearly trapping Baclaan and Cortez. They were clearly trying to get the ball out of their hands. But the other guys, si Mason, who I think they were trying to stick to, and they were not running plays for Mason, and si Mike Phillips and si Boris Marasigan. Two other non-shooters that you would leave behind, and si Mason Amos that you could just stick one guy there. So I thought Coach Topex should have made a substitution, but I'll get to that later. Sammy, go ahead.
It's interesting kasi pinili mo yung supporting cast ng LaSalle. I'm going with the stars of LaSalle. When it was crunch time, they couldn't deliver. I think one big turnover from Kian Baclan had one huge turnover. He hesitated taking a three. I think he was challenged by Nuruka, so that led to a turnover, and that essentially sort of decided the game. I know he was able to recover nung next possession where he threw up a Hail Mary na three-pointer and it went in. I think that was the only three he made. So I think it was 1 of 6 for the game. I'm just calling him out kasi he was talking to people. He was chirping at everyone the entire game nung first half, even the fans. Pero I was hoping he would make it interesting, but he hesitated dun sa 3 na yon. On the other star that I want to sort of call out, si Mike Phillips lang, just the free throws. I know the entire team was really bad sa free throws. I think si Boris missed a couple. Mike Phillips was 4 of 11, something like that. I just think for me, may nag-comment na rin haka Mike talaga. If it comes down to like a close game and I'm the opposing team, I would just hack Mike Phillips.
Coach
I
Jeff
think he
Napa
was
did
fouled.
that. Remember?
Yeah. Right. Tama. Against NU. I would just do that. And I was hoping Mike would have learned from that championship because it cost them that championship when he kept missing those free throws. I think that's like one part of his game that he needs to work on for them to compete. And I would still put them as like obviously a strong contender to win the championship this season, but Mike has to make those free throws because they could just use that against him, and it happened again today. But overall, yung buong Lasal was not good with their free throws today. You mentioned meron ka pang ibang Boleros or other picks for Ballers or
Well,
Boleros. Comment down below pala kung meron pa kayong picks for Ballers.
Bolero for me,
mga nakikinig lang.
Coach Topex, like offensive variability. They know you want to go to Cortez and Baclan, so UP was denying that all throughout the second half. I thought they should have gone somewhere else, and this is where I really wanted them to go to Mason or at least run something through Mason. Mason can create from the post. He can hit shots. He saw that. We all saw that when he was in Ateneo. He could create shots. JC Makalalag, I don't think he fouled out. I think he should have been inserted. He can create shots for himself. They were running some big to big pick and roll with KQ now. I know Mason is not KQ, but they can try, something else other than dribble handoff Mike Phillips to Cortez and Baclaan, pick and roll with Cortez and Baclaan. It sort of gets repetitive. And that's where UP thrives. When you do the plays over and over again, they figure it out. So UP figured it out in the third and fourth quarter. I thought some offensive variability, something out of the box would have been helpful for the UP fighting, for the De La Salle Green Archers. They really struggled offensively, trying to get better shots. So, Coach Topex, you have to do better. I really questioned the Boris Manasigan insertion in the last few possessions. I thought another shooter would have helped, and that's where the other guys have to come in.
So,
Go ahead, Sam.
this can apply to both teams, UP at LaSalle. If you're Coach Topex, if you're Coach Gold, you're looking at your team right now, how it's faring against like top competition. Anong adjustments ang gagawin mo? So you sort of mentioned LaSalle, players that you would put in more, play more for UP also on the other end. Meron ka bang nakikita? Like, who would you want to see more? Or do they need to recruit more, UP and LaSalle? I don't think so. I think the answer is already in the lineup. But I wouldn't be surprised if they recruit more. But like ikaw on UP's end, who do you want to see more?
Harold, actually, he's a slight bolero for me because bro, come on. You're number 1/1A, 1B, whatever you want to call him. Man, you have to be better. You have to be better taking charge. This is, in all respects, your team now. Everyone expects. Matagal na tayo nag-expect sa kay Harold. But this is this is Harold's team now. When they're struggling offensively, he should be the one to take charge. Much like what JD did last season. Actually, we've seen flashes from Harold, but there are games talaga like this one where he just disappears, or sometimes he looks good.
Out.
He takes charge.
Literal, nawala siya sa game.
Yeah, that's to be fair, that was a dumb call by the refs.
Yeah.
All in all, but yeah, there are plays where he looks amazing. He had a step back over, I think it was Makalalag or Boleros, and he looked good. Then he had a corner three that bounced off the side of the glass. So Harold has to be better, and he's given a lot of opportunity. Actually, you saw UP in the third and fourth quarter. They were running a lot of offense to Harold, but he was not delivering. I think he bricked a layup also, a wide open one. So Harold has to be better, especially in big games like this now, against teams that are less talented, yung less stacked than UP. I think they can survive with having a bad Harold Alarcon game. But in big games against, for example, like a USC, NU, especially against LaSalle, Harold will have to deliver. We have to see that Harold from the UE game in the second round of season 87. That type of guy, when he's taking charge, when he's making the right play every single time. Oy, si Maui, nangyaya ka, nag-enjoy ka dyan sa
Sumali ka na dito, Maui. Habol ka.
Nangyaya ka, Maui. Anyways, but yeah, Harold has to step up. It took two great RemoGOAT threes to bail UP out of this one. I don't think you can expect that each and every game. I think to get a convincing win against this LaSalle team, Harold will have to have one of his signature games. Hindi naman kailangan 20 points, but at least be efficient from the field, make the right plays, hit shots when you're open, those type of things. A lot is expected for Harold Alarcon this season, especially with the departure of JD and Francis. A lot of the plays are going to be called for him. So hopefully he shows up. I still believe in the talent. I still think he's really good. I've always thought he's really good. So hopefully we see a new Harold Alarcon, a better Harold Alarcon in the next matchups against us. I think they'll be having a few matchups. I think they're both in the WUS, World University League Championships or something. So hopefully we're gonna see another UP LaSalle matchup, and hopefully we see a better Harold Alarcon. Sammy.
I love that pick. For me, it's Jacob Baila. I'm really high on this guy. I think this guy is the future of big part of the future of UP. Alam naman natin sina Harold and the other NUYs are leaving after this season, graduating after the season. So I do want to see more of Jacob Baila. I'm high on this guy because he's also like a Gilas kid. So I love the length. I love yung tenacity niya. So I do want to see more of him. He's probably gonna get more minutes as soon as Jerry Abadiano, Harold Alarcon are gone. But hopefully we see more of him this season. He only played like 12 minutes today, but I'm expecting him to get more when the UAAP starts. This guy can play on both ends of the floor. So this is the type of guy that Coach Gold should be playing or Coach Gold loves. So I'm expecting him to get way more minutes than 12 minutes. Wag mo na tipirin, Coach Gold. We want to see more Jacob Baila minutes. I guess any other points before we go? Just checking the comments here kung meron pa tayong worth adding.
Nothing much, but yeah, sayang lang kasi yung last na na-imprint sa utak ko, Sam, was the calls by the refs. Yun
Yun
lang talaga
talaga
yung
yung key
pinaka-na-frustrate
takeaway
ako eh.
from this game. It's not even how good RemoGOAT was or whatever. The first thing that comes to your mind were like the of ref calls, the horrible calls by the refs. Yun din yung sa akin eh.
Oh, anytime that the commentators themselves or the ones calling the game were confused as well to uh, what was happening on the court and in the game, the refs did a horrible job. They should not be the team in the finals. I would be pretty surprised if they were the same guys calling the finals of UP versus NU. Because, grabe, sayang eh. Yun lang eh. Yun, ang ganda ng game, ang ganda ng two shots ni yung ni RemoGOAT. Pero, yung nananadaan ko talaga is, pangit ang mga tawag ng ref. Like, what the hell? Why are you changing your
Ang
own?
dami eh. Buti kung isa
Decide?
lang eh. Pero
Diba?
hindi. They just kept changing.
It was horrible. But at least we got an exciting UP Lasal game. I do hope we get more of these from other teams also. I do hope that we get more challengers to UP and Lasal. You know, ayoko lang naman kasi nag-look forward to a UP Lasal game. Diba? Sa UAP season 88, diba? That's what I do want other teams to step up and hopefully they rise to the level of UP and Lasal. Because if you watch the two UP Lasal matchups this season, I don't think you walk away thinking that any other team can possibly put up a challenge against these two juggernauts. It's kind of impossible right now. Yun lang. I don't want
Speaking of
just
looking forward to like other teams stepping up. It's going to be UP versus NU in the finals. Once again, we're going to see NU battle it for the finals. Quick predictions for you, Gab. Like, what are you looking forward to this game and like, what's your prediction? Kasi historically in the preseason, laging second placer lang ang NU. Never the never the bride, always the bridesmaid, something like that. What's your call?
Always the bridesmaid.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Never the brides. I think it's just gonna be that.
Sorry, NU fans. Sorry sa mga nakikinig from NU.
Sorry, and I don't think they've beaten UP since the Pinoy Liga before season 86. If you remember that, diba? Sa amin yung semifinals ng Pinoy Liga. Nung nag-overtime,
right,
and then
right.
And
then that's why naging NU
I don't think
Ateneo sa finals, diba?
Yeah, so I don't think they've beaten UP since then. So
well, tinalo
nila
UP
win,
sa
I
season
don't think
87 na, but in the preseason wala pa.
Yun pala. Sorry. So yun, I think it's gonna be the same result. NU being the bridesmaid, UP being the bride, if you want to call it that. It's gonna, listen, for the other 6 teams in the league, you have to play exceptionally perfect basketball
Or Lasal,
to beat one of UP or Lasal. It's gonna be pretty difficult. Listen, if we're gonna go to NU, if they play the way they did against UST a while ago, I think they have a good shot. Because if we're gonna go there, Sammy, to NU, you should look at that NU versus UST game a while ago and tell themselves they should play like that more often. You know, they were playing to UST space the entire game and they rose to it. We all know how UST plays.
Fast,
they play fast and they play up tempo, a ton of threes. And you played the same way and it worked. Like, why can't you play like that every single game? Diba? I don't know. They struggle so much offensively because they can't play to the pace of their opponent. And I just want them to Mr. Makatangay, this is what we're giving already. I did watch this game and I think NU can play up tempo. They showed that a while ago. And I think if you get to play up-tempo, you open up the court, you get Jake Figueroa feeling it offensively. Jake Figueroa was awesome, by the way, especially in that third quarter run by NU. Unstoppable. Galing ni Jake Figueroa. So yeah, more offensive feel, a lot of open mid-rangers from Jake Figueroa because they were decisive and intentional with how they were running their offense. Every time they would get an open lane, drive to the basket, or either a dish off to PJ Palacelo for an easy basket. I think this is the way NU has to play. I don't think that they should slow it down. There are times that they really slow down their offense, and it hurts
Which
them.
is usually what they do, diba? They usually play slow, hindi fast. Yeah.
But this preseason has shown me that they can play up tempo. Remember the La Salle
Asia
semis
basket.
that
Yeah.
in Asia basket that finished 105 to 103 or something like that. They can score and they can play up tempo. They can play like that. I think if NU has any chance of beating UP, they have to play nearly perfect basketball. And I think playing fast has its merits, because half court they don't have enough one-on-one ability and shooting to keep up. So that's just me. On UST side, man, they are gonna be like
7
the Phoenix
seconds or
Suns back in
less.
the 2000s. They're gonna score a lot. Yeah, they're gonna score a lot. Their defense needs a lot of work. They are how should I say this? Their perimeter defense is not as fearsome. I don't think anyone on that on that UST team is a good perimeter defender right now. They just let people through over and over again. NU was getting paint touch after paint touch after paint touch throughout this game. UST was scoring well in the first half. When the shots abandoned them in the second half, voila. They're gonna struggle, and they can't stop anyone. They can't stop teams from scoring. So I think it's clear for me that NU and UST will battle for number 3. Maybe you put Adamson there, and let's see Maui's power rankings when he comes back. But I do think UST and NU have significant holes in their game. Just talked about NU, just talked about the defense of UST. So yun, Sammy, anything to add?
Well, we're a bit over time now, but seeing that UST NU game, Gab, question for you: who's the third best team in the UAP right now so far?
I would say UST. I still think it's UST.
Okay. Okay.
Hindi, here's my thing, Sam, and why I'm frustrated with NU. UST at least has an identity. Diba? At least they know what they're playing. Whenever they enter a game, we're playing fast, we're launching a ton of threes, we're spreading the floor, we're playing pick and roll, we're running every time we get the ball. So yun, that's my thoughts. I think UST just knows who they are. NU plays to their opponent's pace. Remember when they're against Adamson, they're
They didn't score 50
they
points.
slow down so much.
Score 50 points.
Yeah, they can't score when they're against Adamson. Their game slows down, but against UST, they play so fast and they're able to score so much. So I think NU needs an offensive identity. Defensively, we know they're solid. They've always been a good defensive team under Coach Jeff Napa. They have good defensive principles. It's their offense that really. There are games like a while ago, you see them like, why can't you play like this every single time? Diba? You get to the paint at will. Now, maybe it's a function of UST's horrible defense, but I saw them do this against La Salle early on in the preseason. So I know they're capable. of rising their offensive game. So, yun lang.
Okay. That's it. Sorry, nakikita namin yung mga comments nyo. I know medyo lagi yung audio. I think it should be better once this recording ends. So, that's it. We'll end this recording. We'll do another podcast to talk about the finals. Siguro talk about the battle for third. Thanks for listening, everyone who joined us live. Comment down below your thoughts on the game and your predictions for UP versus NU. We'll see you again next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye-bye.